Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Brandi Johnson. I am the Vice President of Student Affairs and Dean of Students here at Endicott College. Thank you for joining us on this Zoom info session. We're really excited to have you with us. This is the second session we did because Saturday was so full, which is awesome. I'm so happy that you were willing to join us and meet with a couple of my colleagues as well as 3 of our amazing students. We're hoping that we'll be able to answer a ton of your questions and that the 3 students that we have with us will be able to tell you a little bit about their experience. Again, thank you for being with us. We hope that you are healthy, safe, and as happy as possible during this unprecedented time. I'm going to start by having my 2 colleagues introduce themselves, and then I'm going to have the 3 students that are with us introduce themselves, and I'm going to ask you to please say what year you are, what your major is, why you decided to come to Endicott. Brianne, if you could start.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Brianne McGann. I'm the Associate Dean of Student Engagement. I oversee and put on a lot of our engagement activities on campus, student activities, community service, spiritual life. But I also oversee all of our orientation and first-year programming. So I look forward to getting to know some of you and helping answer any questions you have today.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brian Wiley. I'm the Assistant Vice President and Director of Athletics and Recreation. So I oversee our 21 NCAA sports, as well as our numerous intramural programs and 6 club sports. In total, we have about 700 student athletes and club athletes. So if I can answer anyone's questions as we proceed through this program regarding anything with that, I'm happy to do so. So welcome.
So I'll go, I guess. I'm Michaela. I am a senior sport management major. And I'm actually on the women's ice hockey team in Endicott. And I chose Endicott for the internship experience. And I feel like that's a really big part for students.
All right.
Go ahead, Rashid.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Rashid. I am a senior international studies major. I'm from the Ivory Coast, West Africa. And I came to Endicott because the program of international studies was very small and very intimate in that way. And also because the internship program was great. So happy to be here.
And then my name is Julie Sanders, and I am a senior biology and biotechnology major. And the reason why I came to Endicott was because of the athletics and because of the internship program.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for the 3 of you for being with us and taking time out of your schedule and online learning today to be a part of this. Goodness. So first and foremost, those of you who are watching, if you have any questions, Brianne's box says ask question here. So ask the questions to Brianne. Brianne's going to filter through those questions. So then that way we can get them to the students to be able to answer for you. Michaela, side note before we even start, Dr. Wiley told me earlier today that there was a snippet on ESPN of the hockey teams.
There was.
Which is so amazing. I have to figure, I've been nonstop Googling, trying to be able to be the one that can find the snippet so that way I can have it on my social media before it breaks anywhere else. But congratulations to that.
Thank you.
Really, really amazing. Okay. So we're going to start with some questions. The first one that I am going to start with for the students, could you tell us about your internship experience at Endicott? Or not at Endicott, you know what I mean?
All right, I'll start. So as a freshman for my first internship, I worked with a microfinance company, and I'm an international studies major. I was conducting research for them, and I quickly learned that I didn't want to spend the rest of my life in finance, and which was great because that's what the internship program at Endicott does. It either tells you that you are in the right program, you want to orient yourself, or it tells you maybe you should be looking for an alternative. I realized that this was something I didn't want to do. And that was great to know that at the time. And so for my second internship as a sophomore, I worked with a nonprofit organization called Open Door Immigration Services. So we work with immigrants basically from Latin America in terms of educating them on their rights and putting on immigration clinics. And For my senior internship, I worked with a congressman in Salem, Massachusetts, Congressman Seth Moulton. He is the representative of the 6th District, and I learned a lot about American politics in general. I was able to develop my networking skills, work on my interpersonal communication skills, and translate different languages and work closely with the immigration officer in that office because of my prior experience with my sophomore internship as well. And so it was very, very great. And he allowed me to realize that that's exactly what I wanted to do, that I was in the right major and I had chosen my path clearly.
So I will go next. I did my freshman and sophomore year internship with the Rhode Island Golf Association. And because I was a winter athlete, I got to complete mine in the summer. So with the Rhode Island Golf Association, I got to help with planning events, creating events, and working events. So I got to work with a lot of famous people. Actually, my sophomore year, I actually got to work with Tony Romo because he got to come in and play at one of our events, which was really exciting. And I've worked for them probably for 4 years now because I did my internship with them and it turned into a very prestigious internship, the PGA Boatwright internship, which was really exciting. So, and then my semester-long internship I did with the Pingree School. I worked right under their athletic director, Betsy Kennedy. So that kind of helped me to realize that I wanted to work in an athletic department and I really wanted to work in either prep school or college athletics.
Great. And then my freshman year internship was at a large pharmaceutical company. And my sophomore year was at a smaller one. So the large pharmaceutical company was over where my parents lived. So I was able to live at home for the summer and commute there. And my sophomore year internship was actually at an incubator business, which is basically, we have these small companies in the LSB, which is our Life and Science building, Ginger Judge. And these companies, they're small startups, and Endicott provides them some resources to help grow their company. And included in that are students like me who were able to do their internship there. So that was really great. And through that, I just discovered that I didn't really want to work production of medicine. I was more interested in the practice of it. So then for my senior year, I wanted to get some patient experience. So I applied for a position at Massachusetts General Hospital, and I'm still currently working with them. I work for a clinical research lab, and we are trying to come up with methods to treat chronic pain to help reduce the prescription of opioids.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Okay, the next question that has come in, we're hopping right from internship to what's it like on the weekends. So the next question that's come in is, what is it like on the weekends? Do people stay on campus on the weekends? And what is the food like just in general, not just the weekends?
Okay, so I think I said this last session, which was for both the dining hall and for weekend stuff to do, it's exactly what you want. And whatever you're looking for, Endicott has something to provide. So for example, if you're somebody that really likes to go out on the weekends, there are plenty of opportunities for you to do that and have fun with your friends. But if you're not so much into that, there's also a lot of other programs that are more focused on, sober lifestyle. There's this one called Late Night Loca, which is basically Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. They put together an event that is sober, and you can come like learn how to knit or watch a Harry Potter movie marathon, or and you can kind of request what you'd like to see there. And so it's a pretty cool opportunity. And the same thing goes for the dining hall. If you want to eat healthy, you can. If you don't want to eat healthy, you can. The dessert bar, I will say, is on the way out. So I have to work on walking on the other side to avoid it because it is very tempting. I do think that the food's very good at Endicott compared to a lot of other schools. I think it's just a big adjustment between mom's home cooking because, your mom asks you what you want every day for dinner, or she knows what you want, and Callahan Dining Center might not. But I promise you that you'll find something that you'll like, and they're very accommodating with allergies and that kind of thing. And also students do stay on campus.
Couldn't have said it better. I think you summed it up.
Perfect. Michaela, anything you want to add about being a student athlete on campus and balancing schoolwork in conjunction with personal life that isn't on the ice? Yeah.
So it's a big adjustment period coming into any college, specifically Endicott, being an athlete. So you have to find and be able to manage your time. You're not going to have your parents looking over your back telling you when to do your homework, when you should leave for practice, if you should get there early, and so on and so forth. So it's really important to, get into a schedule, know when your practices are, get there. We had to get there an hour early. So knowing when to get there, kind of going through that process, it's easy to manage. Also, on the weekends, it's a lot because a lot of your friends go out and you may have games, so you're not going to have those opportunities. But taking advantage of the things that Julie said, like late night loca, also going to other sporting events, supporting other athletes, whether you're an athlete or not an athlete, is a big part. And kind of just knowing when to ask for help. You have resources available to you on campus with faculty members, the writing center, the tutoring center, and things like that. So knowing when to ask for help is really important too.
Thank you. So a couple of the questions that I've gotten now are whether new students are allowed to have cars. So I'll answer that one. First year students are not allowed to have cars. Our purpose for that is both in making sure there's enough parking on campus in general. And then on top of that, we want to make sure that the first year students are able to become engulfed in the community. And if you have your car on campus, you're more likely than not going to hop in that car and leave to go to some other campus or home and not really give yourself a chance to get acclimated to being a first year student and being a gull in the nest. So those are our reasons for the no car. The other portion of the question was, what are the transportation options? We have zip cars on campus that you are able to rent out hourly or numerous hours, full day. There's also multiple shuttles that are on campus, both that go throughout just campus as well as go off campus, that can bring you to the Beverly Depot, which is the train station downtown Beverly that can get you into Boston, to South Station, which could get you into New York or wherever it is that you wanted to go. So those are transportation. Can students go into Boston was another piece of the question. Absolutely. We actually host trips through student activities to go to numerous different places, both Boston. There's a New York City trip. There's skiing trips. There's trips to go see the Revs or the Red Sox. We haven't gotten into the Patriots yet because they don't want to make their prices a little bit less expensive for students to be able to afford those. But we've gone to Bruins games and the Celtics as well. So there's numerous trips that go into Boston. And then we also offer the opportunity for a bus into Boston just for you to enjoy your time with your friends. Usually is like a 12 p.m. Pickup from school, bring you into the city for about 6-7 hours, and then bring you right back onto campus. Housing process. So one of the questions that is on there, I'm going to have the students speak about what it's like living on campus and what the different residence halls are like. But before you do speak about that, the question that is being asked is, what is the process like and how are roommates selected, in addition to what does move-in day look like? So the process is the earlier you deposit to Endicott to become a gull, a legit gull, that puts you in line for a better chance to get your first choice of housing in the first year park, whatever your housing choice might be. So for instance, if Michaela and I wanted to live together and Michaela was the student who deposited 2 weeks ago, and I'm the student that's like, I'm gonna wait until a strong June or July to deposit, and Michaela and I really want to live together, Michaela is going by my deposit date instead of her deposit date. So it's whoever's deposit date is the latest, is whose deposit date residence life then goes through a list to goes through the list of who has selected which residence halls they want to live in, and tries to place them via those deposit dates. Roommate selection itself, we do not have like a dating questionnaire, for lack of better words, like other schools do. We don't do that process. What we have is just one sheet that you fill out saying which hall you want to live in. And so for those of you that do not know, our first year students are all put together in a freshman park. So there's, goodness, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buildings that are all in one area that the first year students can live in. Some of them are doubles, some of them are quads, some of them are triples. One of the buildings is in an old mansion. One is a traditional hall, like a lot of people have seen in either movies or you've seen your friends live in, where it's a corridor style and a joint bathroom in the middle of the corridor. One of our areas, which is called Bayview Hall for the first year students to live in, it's 2 suites that are adjoined by a small living area, and it has its own private bathroom. I want to let you know that if that is one of your top choices for living and you want to have that private bathroom, all for it, but you need to keep in mind that you're the one cleaning that private bathroom. So that's a little bit about the roommates and the selection. I would suggest thoroughly for any of you that have specific questions about the halls to contact reslife@endicott.edu. They have been nonstop emailing back our hopefully new students about the different selection processes, as well as what it's like to pick a roommate. In addition to that, on the website, you should be able to find the telephone number for accepted students, our new student hotline. And if that is not on there, I will have Brianne give you that phone number before we close today. Move-in day, what does it look like? It looks super busy. But it's an awesome, awesome day. We have our athletes all help us with the first year students moving their belongings in to their rooms, and you're given a time, which gives you we do move-in waves. So Residence Life sends out in the summer a system of sorts that it is, you're moving in between, I'm just making this one up, 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. So you come during that wave to move your belongings into your room. There are numerous athletes that are helping you get your stuff into your room, and then whomever brought you to campus can help you set up your room for a few hours before orientation starts. And those waves go pretty much from 7 a.m. till about 4 p.m. in the afternoon. If you show up earlier than your wave, we put you in a little waiting area, a car waiting area, until your wave has started. We have a pretty strong system in place that makes it run really smoothly. It's busy, but it's as smooth as possible. So on to what is it like living on campus. If you all could talk about where you lived your first year as a freshman, as well as suggestions of where to live, any of that. What it was like having a roommate. A lot of these people that are listening probably don't have to share a bedroom. So what is all of that like for you, or was that like for you?
So, speaking specifically on the roommate aspect of it, for me, it was a really big adjustment because all my siblings are boys, and so I had never had to share a room before. And it was definitely an adjustment, but I look back on it and it was some of my fondest memories of Endicott were freshman year with my freshman year roommates. I had 2. I was in a built-up triple, and we still had plenty of room. And especially in the freshman area, you're pretty much all in the same boat of it's pretty evenly split up of, how many roommates you're going to have versus how much space you're going to have. I don't think that, there's a huge difference building to building on whether or not you're going to have more space or less space. But there definitely are different cultures. So in one of the more traditional dorms like Frady's, you're living with so many people, and that's one culture, versus if you're in Reynolds, which is kind of smaller and more closed off, it's a little bit quieter. But I mean, freshman year is a blast. You're right in front of the water, so you have easy access to the beach. I lived in Brindle my freshman year, which I absolutely loved, and there's these big common rooms that overlook the ocean, and that's where I did all my homework. It was great.
All right. I think my favorite dorm on campus was Reynolds, and that's an old mansion that Brandi mentioned. And it's just amazing being there. You're literally in a mansion. I was NRA in Reynolds my sophomore year, and that's where some of my fondest memories of Endicott are. And it was just really great being able to work with freshmen because it still is a freshman dorm, and so I highly recommend it. Was able to live there and work with freshmen in terms of helping them throughout the transition from high school to college. And I would say I didn't have a roommate because I was in RA, but it was definitely wonderful. And this past semester, I was in Brindle on the second floor as an RA, and I had a roommate who was also an RA, and it was just really great. The room was very large and spacious, and so I think living on campus is definitely great because you have so many resources around you. You have the library right there. You have all your friends on campus. You have the opportunity to attend conferences and different events, sports, games, and all of that in the evening, sometimes in the morning, over the weekends. And so there are definitely many advantages to living on campus. And I think that's why I might be a little wrong on the statistic, but I think about 90% or more of our students live on campus, and highly recommend it.
So I was I was the first freshman class to live in Frady's. So I highly recommend Frady's. It's clean. I would just say all dorms on campus are clean. So you don't have to worry about that. So I lived with two other girls at the time. Frady's was triples. I think now it's mostly quads and a few triples here and there. And I went into Endicott knowing a few other girls that were going to be there, but I highly recommend going in random, because this way you get to meet a ton of people. You get to live with someone who's may not be your style ideally, but you get to see how the way other people live and stuff like that, which is really cool. And I know Julie said it and Rashid also said it, but there's dorms that can fit your style. If you want a quiet dorm, there's dorms for that. If you want healthy living, there's dorms for that. And I would say Frady's, Brindle, and Reynolds are kind of more of not the social dorms, but people always hang out in the common rooms. And kind of, it's more of a community, I would say. So I highly recommend one of those dorms too.
And then I don't think we touched on healthy living, but we do have two healthy living dorms. Yes. And everybody I know who's done it, literally right on the water. And I know those people that did it made some of their best connections through that program. So if that's something that you're interested in, it's definitely worth looking into.
So yes, the healthy living dorms. Thank you for that, Julie. There's two of them. They're across the street from that freshman park that I was just talking about. They're both on the water, like Julie just said, and it is a community of students that have made a choice to abstain from any alcohol, any tobacco, any type of smoking, and also want to just live a healthy lifestyle. So there's different programming that goes on in those halls. There's programming in all of the halls, but there's different programming in those halls that focuses specifically on health and well-being. So yoga, running, meditation, kayaking, pretty much the students name it, and then we make it happen. Again, there's programming in all of the halls. This upcoming year, there's 2 living learning community options when you are selecting into housing. There is the leadership hall, which will be in Reynolds Hall, and then depending on interest, there'll be a women's empowerment wing, floor, hall. We're waiting to see what the interest will be on that. But regardless of whether you're in a living learning community, there is still programming that is intense and a lot in all of the halls that you can become a part of if you want to, or if you want to opt out and do your own thing, you can also do that. Another question for the students. This one, I'm going to make it a twofer. What's one thing you wish you knew before you became a gull? And then in that, how easy is it to make friends once you are a gull and in the nest?
That one's a tough one. So I guess I'll start. Before I came into Endicott, I wish I knew about all of the programs that you can do on campus. So being an athlete, I came in my freshman year and I kind of just focused on athletics in school. So, I didn't really do the late night loca. I didn't really do, I did Relay for Life, but I had to because I was an athlete. So just kind of those things, I wish I knew more about them, and I wish I paid more interest to them. Um, and what was the second part of that question?
How easy is it to make friends?
Oh, it is 100% the easiest thing to do. I came in very shy. I knew the 9 other freshmen that I came in with that were hockey recruits. So it's easy when you live with 2 or 3 other people to meet friends. Your door is usually open. You're usually doing homework in the common room. You're talking to friends in your classes. You usually ask for help. It's easy to get out of your comfort zone your freshman year, and I would recommend you do it, because usually after that you start to, cling on to the friends that you have. So always just keep being open and looking to make more relationships and friendships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Unlike Michaela, I did not come in as an athlete, but one of the things that I wish I had known more about, or that I had showed more interest in, is actually the athletic programs, because I played soccer pretty much my whole life, and I discovered pretty late that I could have been a soccer player at Endicott, and I wish I had been able to, figure out what the mechanism to get involved in that was before I came to Endicott, so I could have been better prepared for it. Freshman year, I was pretty much just focused on the academics, which is the primary reason why we're in Endicott. But yeah, I wish I had the opportunity to play soccer while I was there. And how easy is it to make friends? As Michaela said, it's very easy. You have a wealth of resources in terms of your RAs, your orientation leaders, your onboard facilitators, and on top of that, you have Raise Life, you have student activities. So there are many social programs that we put on, even with the athletics again, where people have the opportunity to go participate, congregate, get to know one another. And I think you just have to get out of your comfort zone and be willing to make that extra step, to be willing to introduce yourself, meet people, and put yourself out there. But it's very easy in that way to make friends. And I know a lot of people are shy, and it's easier said than done. And that's why you have student leaders helping you navigate this process. That's why you have your RAs, you have your OLs, and your resident directors. That's why you have student activities, and putting on a lot of events and helping you navigate how these one-on-one friendship types kind of things work.
And I would say that I think this is kind of overarching for all college experiences, but I wish that I knew that it was okay to change what I wanted and who I was throughout my college experience. Because I think that going into college, you're like, I am this, and I'm going to end up here, and it's okay if that changes. I came in as an athlete, and I loved my athletic team, and I loved playing, but I got injured, and it was a reoccurring injury, so my family and I decided to take a step away, and it was so scary. But Endicott had kind of everything that I needed to be successful anyway, and I was able to get involved in so many other things because I was open to it. And I agree with Rashid and Michaela in that it is so easy to make friends if you put yourself out there, because even though it's easy, you still have to put in effort. You have to be willing to leave your door open. You have to be willing to go into the common room and sit down and do your homework, because friends aren't going to come to you. But if you're somebody that just loves sitting inside and watching Netflix all day, I guarantee you somebody would love to do it with you. So it's just about finding that person, and it's super easy after that. What was the other? Did I answer the other part of the question?
Yeah.
I did. Okay, great.
That was awesome. Thank you for that, Julie. Julie actually hits a great point. Granted, I'm the old lady on this screen, but when I started college, my major, umpteen years ago, my major was broadcast journalism. I was convinced you could not tell me anything different than that I was going to be Oprah. That was happening. She was out, I was in. Nobody was telling me anything different. And then literally senior year of college hit, and I saw a flyer up where I went to school, and it was to work in an after school program and be a teacher. And I changed my entire life senior year of college. So still maybe Oprah might be, I might hop on to the O Network at some point, but here I am working at a college, and that was not, it was not in my, even a remote thought. So that was an excellent piece of advice to this is your opportunity to be able to invent who you want to be and consistently change that. And we are all here, student leaders, faculty, staff, to help you along each step of that way, having conversations to figure out what it is that you actually really like and where we can suggest resources to make that happen for you. That actually pops in another question. How do we support students with anxiety? So who wouldn't have a little bit of anxiety? You're leaving your own nest to come to our nest. And I'm telling you, we've got the best nest, but it's still, it's a little nerve-wracking to leave home. So we support anxiety in numerous different facets. There are resident assistants, as Rashid said, he was one. There's over 80 students that are resident assistants. We have over 100 orientation leaders that work throughout the entire school year to support our students. But we also have a robust and very hands-on counseling center that is always there for our students, whether it's anxiety, not anxiety, depression, or just need someone to sit down and talk to that's a safe space. So we work with our students. Again, all of the students that have spoken today have said that college is what you make of it. I encourage you, if you're someone that does have extreme anxiety, to reach out in the beginning of the school year to one of the faculty, staff, a coach, one of the student leaders, to let them know, so then that way they can push you in the right direction. As someone who does have anxiety, if I keep it to myself, nobody knows what's going on in my head, and then I'm battling it on my own. But if I'm letting people know, like, this is a little bit much, that gives other people the opportunity to say, like, hey, how about you go have a conversation with Brianne? She might be able to help you join XYZ club that will help you get involved in more things on campus. Or why don't you go talk to coach so-and-so to let them know that that's how you're feeling, and they can have their own one-on-one conversation with you to how to best work through that.
And I'll add on to that real quick. And
Thank
just
you.
that if there's a lot of anxiety, just know that, like, you're not alone in that, and that there are so many other people in your position at your school who feel the same way. And so to connect with those people and rely on your new community to not only create relationships, but help support yourself and what you need, because these are the friends that you're going to be with, long lasting relationships for the rest of your life. So super meaningful and awesome. Do it.
Also, building on that, I actually have generalized anxiety disorder, so I know all the ins and outs. I recommend the first few days of school, if you're nervous about where your classes are, take some friends, go walk where your classes are going to be. There's people that you can confide in, and there's people that you can go see. And I recommend using those resources, because I don't think I would have gotten through it without those resources.
Right.
Thank you. Let me see. I'm looking at my sidebar. I'm sorry, everyone. How does the college help undecided majors decide on a major? So I'm going to have Brianne pop in real quick as someone that does orientation to answer that one, if you're all right with doing that.
Absolutely. So our orientation groups are actually assigned by major. So you will have an orientation leader that's someone who has studied in the same school as you. And so the same goes for our students that are undecided. They actually will have an orientation leader who also came in undecided. And so you're going to have a role model who's been through that whole process and kind of understands what it's like to come in and how to help figure that out. We also rely heavily on the Career Center to help support those students. So, with the orientation leaders, really offering some ways for students to kind of figure out, what are you passionate about? What are you interested in? Typically, first semester students that come in undecided take a variety of different courses, and you'll kind of be working with your faculty advisor to see which ones you were loved, which ones you think you want to keep studying, and kind of go from there. We have one student who's on the orientation leader team who didn't decide till the end of her sophomore year, but she is so excited and now feels like she's found her life path. So we have a lot of support and role models, the Career Center, your faculty advisor, to make sure that you're making decisions that help you enter a field that you want to be in.
Thank you. Did any of the students that are on here, you came in with like this is what I'm studying, this is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
You changed yours a little bit, Julie.
My roommate came in as liberal studies, which is kind of Endicott's version of undecided.
Mhm.
And that really allowed her to take classes her freshman year that helped kind of lay out her path and interests. And because in that specific major, you're able to take courses that you want to take specifically to help you figure out what you want to do, she was able to do that. And so she took a lot of art history courses, and now is going into museum curation and that kind of thing. Even though it's liberal studies doesn't translate to that, she took all the courses she needed to fulfill that. So
Terrific. Thank you. If there are no other questions, Brianne, do you have any other questions? So there's no other questions that we have right now. And it's actually funny enough, we're only 3 minutes away from when we were supposed to end this session. I would like to first ask Brianne if you could recite the telephone number for the new student hotline for those that are listening. So then that way they can text or call if they have any additional questions.
Sure. The number, I can also put it in the chat as well, but the number is 978-522-0492, and you can call or text that number at any time.
Thank you, Dr. Wiley, for being a part of this. Thank you, Rashid. Thank you so much, Michaela, Julie, Brianne, of course. All of you that are listening and watching, truly appreciate you tuning in for a little bit today. We hope to see you at the Nest soon. I hope everyone is healthy and safe and as happy as possible in this strange time that we're all living right now. Looking forward to seeing you in the Nest. It's a great place to be. Thank you again for being a part of today. If you have any questions, feel free to call that phone number that Brianne put both in the chat box for everyone, as well as just gave out. If you have any questions specifically related to athletics, please feel free to email Brian Wiley. He's at B, as in Brian, Wiley at endicott.edu. If you have anything for me, it's bjohnson at endicott.edu. And anything for Brianne, it's B McGann, MCGANN at endicott.edu. Looking forward again to having you at the Nest. Thank you for being a part of today. See you all soon.